So today I had plans of starting with JDBC. So whatever SQL was needed, that much has been covered. Rest you can keep on exploring. So are we waiting for someone?
Yeah, we can start.
Okay. So at the core of every application, you will see there's a database. So first you have a user interface, the front end part. Then you have the business logic, the coding, and the third component is your database. So in any application, this pattern will be there. These three major components will be there in almost all of the applications. So this will be the front end. Okay. In HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then request will come from the front end. This is called HTTP request. And all the data from the front end will come in the form of a request to the back end. Okay, so this backend can be configured in any programming languages. Okay, so we will be configuring this in Java Spring Boot. Okay, so you can use any programming languages or any server-side scripting language you can use, like Java, PHP, Python, C#, blah blah blah. Any server-side scripting language, those languages which work on the server side. Okay, now if that language, in our case Java Spring Boot, required any help from the database, then we require some connectivity which will help us connect to the database at the backend. This is the database, the third component. And to store and to fetch data to the database, this part is called as JDBC. Okay. So it will help us from the Java code store data in the database and also help us to retrieve or fetch data on the database. Okay, so this will be mostly by select query. Most of the time it will be using select query, or you can also update or insert. Okay, so store would be insert most of the time. When I say store, I mean you're trying to insert. And when I try to fetch, you're trying to select. Most of the time it will be select. So all these operations, so that part of Java which helps you interact with the database is called as Java database connectivity. Okay, and database can be any of the provider. Okay, irrespective if it is Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, Postgres, MS Access, any, or if it is Snowflake, irrespective, whichever is a database vendor, the code of JDBC will remain the same. Only one thing you have to change is, as per the database provider, you will have a database driver. You will have a database driver. So based on the database, you will have to use the appropriate driver. So if you are using Oracle, then we'll have to use Oracle driver. If we are using MySQL, then we'll have to use MySQL driver. And if you're using SQL server, then we'll have to use SQL server driver. So depending on your database vendor, you have to use those drivers. Only that part will change. So if we, for our training, are using MySQL, okay? So for our entire training in Spring Boot, our driver database connectivity will be done with MySQL. But if you join a company and that company is having database as Oracle, so all you have to change is the driver. Only one single line of code will change. So if for MySQL connectivity, to do the CRUD operation, to do the create, read, update, delete, to do this CRUD operations, I write 1000 lines of code, assuming. And now I want to do the same in Oracle. So only my 999 lines of code will remain same. Only one line will change, that is the driver line, in which I am adding the driver. Only that part of the code will change, rest the entire code remains same. So no need to worry about any database vendor. Am I understood? So this green area we will explore today. That is your database connectivity. Okay. For this, let me first build the base for y'all. Okay. So who all are fond of cricket? Yes, no, maybe. Am I audible to y'all?
Yes.
Is Amir there?
No, Amir is not here today. He went home down yesterday. Texted me in the night.
Okay. So, okay, see, let's assume this to be a 2x2 matrix, and I want to populate and you have a batsman and you have a bowler. Okay. And let's say the rows are the countries, India and Australia, let's say. Okay. And the other quadrants. So this is first quadrant, this is second quadrant, this is third quadrant, and this is the fourth quadrant. So I clockwise I name the quadrants. Quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. Okay. So now I will give you a cricketer's name and I want you to place it in the proper quadrant. Okay. Tell me, where will you place this chap? Yes.
First one, first.
First quadrant. Indian batsman, right?
Yes.
Okay. Where will you place this chap?
Fourth quadrant.
Who's this bloke? He is a Australian
Bowler. Okay.
Where will you place this chap?
Fourth.
Fourth quadrant, right? Australian batsman. And where will you place this person?
Bowler.
Two.
Indian bowler, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right or wrong?
Right, sir.
So, similar pattern, I want you to understand So if I tell this statement that India produces only bowlers, is this fact? Is it true or false?
False.
Why false?
Because we have batsman as well.
Because India produces both
Yes.
batsmen plus,
Bowlers.
correct? Okay, if I give you this statement, is it true or false? Australia produces only batsmen.
False.
True or false?
False.
Sir, batsman, I guess like this. So why? Because Australia produces
Both.
both. Okay, correct? Okay.
Yes.
Now, this was the cricket example. We'll try to fit this into JDBC. Now, once the example is understood, you all should understand the JDBC example also. Okay. So let's now replicate this into JDBC. Okay. So, okay, we have two types of queries. Okay. The query whose first word will start with select and whose first word will not start with select. So how do I categorize them as?
Select
How do you
none.
categorize them as?
According to needs, sir.
No, the query. So insert will come in which bracket? Insert. Insert will come under which category? Select or non-select?
Select.
No. See, the query whose first word is select will come in select, and whose first word is not select. So create will come under which bracket?
Non-select, create.
Insert, update, delete. All these are,
Non-select. So select is only select.
yeah. Oh yeah, select is only select. Rest all non-select. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm talking about the DMLs over here. I'm talking about the DML.
DML.
Non-select. I'm talking
Data manipulation.
non-select DML queries. Okay. And we have static query,
Yes, sir.
query, which we have static and dynamic.
Dynamic.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that query in which I know the data is your static query. And those queries which I don't know the data are dynamic queries. So if I try to write this query, insert into product and values. Okay. And if
This is the dynamic
so if I know
query.
the values 101 mobile price 10,000 quantity 10. So do I know the mobile product number?
Yes. 101.
Do I know the product name,
Yes.
product price,
Yes.
product quantity?
Yes.
So when you know all that data, it is called as static query. It's called as what?
Static.
Static query. When you know the data. So if I say update product set price equals to 2,000, 20,000, where product number equals to 101. Do I know the price and the product number
Yes.
which I am updating? So such queries, when you know the data, is called as static query. It's called as what?
Static query.
Static query. And those queries which you don't know the data and you're depending on the user, whatever the user will enter at runtime So those are called as dynamic query, or called as what?
Dynamic query.
Example. So if I say insert into product values, and if I say I don't know the product number, product name, so whatever the user will enter, so I don't know the price, new price, and I don't know whose product number I want to update. So these are called as what?
Dynamic.
So we will accept from the user, we will accept from the
Users.
user. So I don't know the values of the query. So where the value is known, where the
Value is known is static.
static value is known is static, and when the value needs to be accepted from the user,
Dynamic.
known to programmer beforehand or prior. Okay, that is called as what?
Static.
Okay. And dynamic query is
When you
value
accept
is not known to the programmer prior, need to be accepted from user at runtime. Those are which queries?
dynamic.
Okay. Okay. So now I will play the same game which we played for this cricket. Okay. So now I have figured out and I have named the quadrants also for you. So now I'll write a query and I want you to tell me which quadrant this query should go to. Yes.
Static and first. Select first quadrant.
Quadrant. Which quadrant should this go to?
First quadrant, sir.
This will go to the first quadrant, correct? Because it is
Yes, sir.
static and select, right?
Yes.
Okay, if I write insert into EM product values. Now,
So this is the, sir, third quadrant.
non-select and
Third quadrant, sir.
Dynamic.
if I say now,
Fourth.
hmm,
Sir, fourth quadrant, sir.
why don't you see a question mark?
Sir, question mark, but last one is a P name like
There is one
mobile.
thing-
So,
there is one thing which I have to take from the user, right?
Yes.
So this is also going in the,
okay.
if you see a question mark, it's a dynamic query, as simple as that.
Okay, sir.
When all the values are known, then only it is a static query. So one value is to be taken from the user or more value to be taken from the user. They all will fall under dynamic. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now if I say now
Select.
Select
So,
dynamic.
select,
no, it's not a dynamic. Static. In dynamics are dynamic. It's dynamic.
quadrant.
Third.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Is third quadrant select dynamic?
No, it's non-select. It's the second one.
Which quadrant?
Second.
Second, right? Because it is select and dynamic, right?
Yes.
Now,
Non-select.
Fourth quadrant, sir.
fourth quadrant. Getting it?
Yes.
Okay. So now, if your query is of select nature, which nature?
Select nature.
We use execute query. What do we use?
Execute.
And if your query is of non-select nature, we use execute update. What do we use?
Update.
And if your query is of static nature, we use statement. We use what? And if your query is of dynamic nature, we use prepared state. Am I understood? What was the need of segregating them so that depending on the question, we can use whatever data. Correct?
Yes.
This was the first thing. Second thing, if your query is of non-select nature, what will we use?
Update.
If the query is of non-select nature, what method will we use?
Execute update.
This method will
Execute
return
and
the
update.
number of this method will return the number of rows that query impacted. So now if I have this as my product prices, 9,000, 899, 6,000, 580, 12,000, 15,000. And if I fire this is my price column. Which column?
Price column.
Price column. So now if I fire this query, how many rows did this query impact? How many rows would get impacted by this query in quadrant 4?
Two.
2, right?
Yes.
So 2 is what type of data? Integer, character, boolean, float, double.
Integer.
So on the LHS of this will always be an integer variable which will store the number of rows impacted by this query. What will it store?
Impacted rows.
What will be that integer variable? When I say execute update on the LHS, I'll have an integer variable. What will that integer variable store?
Impacted rows.
Impacted rows. Okay. How many rows got inserted over here?
Unknown.
Huh?
For now, it's unknown.
Insert. No, when I do an insert query, how many rows do I insert with one insert query? One single row. So what will come in impacted rows when I fire this insert query? See, we did this yesterday, right? I want you all to be a little proactive. Try to be a little proactive with the academics, guys. So when I insert one single query, fire one insert query, how many rows gets inserted is my question.
One.
One, right?
Yes.
What happened? How is this chap behaving? Why is that local host being directed over here? I don't want the internet local host. So if I come inside this database and okay, let's take any database, let's create a database for yourself. Okay, I create one database SCS DB. We did that yesterday, right? That was a different machine. Now if I create a table over here called employee table having 3 fields, go and I want to create it faster. E number, E name, salary, E number is integer, length 5, E name is varchar of length 10, E is salary of length 5.
Like as an access or PLSQL.
And this is my SQL.
No, it's a look like as a.
But this I'm doing the graphical way of creating a table. You can do it with a code also. See, this is the query for that. So internally it will generate a query for me. So now if I want to insert into this table and I fire an insert query, I go to SQL and fire a insert query of inserting a record. So it shows over there how many rows this query impacted. So if I say insert into EMP values 101 Alice and 800 and I do a go. So it shows over there how many rows this query, what happened. Okay, why is there comma against 800? So when I do a go, it says how many rows impacted?
1 rows.
1 row. So that is what I'm trying to ask all this while. So when I fire this insert into product value, how many rows gets impacted?
1
That 1 will come in which variable?
rows impacted.
You can take it any variable. You can take integer n also. You can take it as integer n. Okay, now if this is my price and this is my P name column. This is my P name column, okay? And these are the products. So I have a mobile, laptop, bag, mobile, laptop. So now if I fire this query, how many rows will get impacted?
1, 2, 3.
3 rows. That 3 will come in which variable?
Integer. Rows impacted.
Yeah, on the LHS. So whenever you're firing the execute update statement on the LHS, keep a variable of what type? When we are firing the execute update method on the LHS, you keep a variable of which type?
Integer.
And what will that integer variable do? What will it store?
The value.
Integer.
Value of what? Value of the number of rows impacted by that query. What will it store? What will it store?
Number of impacted rows.
Correct. So it will store the value of the number of rows impacted by that query. Okay. And if you are firing a select query, okay. So let me add some more data to this table now. So we can have P number also, and these are my P numbers. Okay. So 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106. Okay. And let's take quantity as well. So at a quantity variable, let's take quantity as 10, 10, 10, 2 got sold, 10, 3, 25. Okay. So now if I fire the query select star from products, how many records will be returned? Okay, so let's do one more thing. So this is a table, right?
Yes.
And this is one single field. This is what?
One single field.
The one which I marked in green is what?
One single field.
One single field. So now, how many fields do I have in this table right now? How many fields do I have?
4 fields, sir. PNO, P name, price, quantity.
No, those are columns. Field is one.
Okay, so field is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, sir.
That is rows.
Okay.
If this one,
6 rows and
4 column.
4
So
columns.
ये
So
तो
where a row and column meets is a field.
first one,
Total, how many fields do I have? That is, how many cells do I have total? Total. So if I mark in,
sir,
if I mark in yellow, this is
4
cell number 1.
is
Cell number 2.
4 multiply with 6, sir. 4 multiply with 6 is a 24.
Yeah, so I have how many fields?
24, sir. 4
24.
multiply 6.
Number of rows multiplied by number of columns, correct?
Yes, yes.
So when I fire that query, how many fields will that query return? 24.
Hmm.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So from this master table, how many rows will this query return? It will return all the entire table, correct?
yes.
So I need some more space now. I need some more space. So you should, the back of your mind should know what this query will return, because the data will be in front of us. Data will be in our access. So I know what this query will return. Okay. So if this is my master data and I fire this query, what will this query return me? This query will return me the entire table. Yes, no, maybe.
Yes.
Yes,
Correct?
sir.
Where will I store this in the date in my application? I will use a result set to store this. What will I use?
Set.
So all this data will
Sir,
go.
I have a question, sir. Is it just a silly question? May I ask, sir, question?
Yeah, please.
Sir, you say that a field means a cell, but sir, cell is a different and field means like a P number, P name, price,
That is
and
column.
quantity
That is
is
a
called a
column.
field.
That is a column.
Nee,
P
nee,
number
column is okay, but sir, same name is called a field. Ki which field you choose to be say that a chemistry या कोई line particular कोई line हो BSCIT या फिर BCA I choose this line is a field. The field is like a column also, na sir. I think
that is what
it's
I'm saying. Field is column. That is what I'm trying to say. Field. See, whatever you understand. If you understand by the cell, you take it as a cell, or you understand as a field, you take it as a field. It's up to your
both
understanding.
are
If
same.
field
Nee,
is
exactly.
confusing, it is not any technical term. It's just a
Okay.
term for explanation. So if
Okay.
you feel that field is confusing you, then
Yes.
stick to cell. Then for you can consider, for
Okay.
your understanding, you can consider as cell. So these are the rows. Now the orange one are the column. What are the orange one?
P name, price,
Are the
Column.
columns, okay? And the blue ones
Yes,
are the
sir.
rows. Blue ones are the
Rose, sir.
rows, Okay. So blue one is the row. So where a row and column meets. Now, if you want to call it as a cell or you want to call it as a field, whatever you
It's a cell.
understand, you can say. So if you feel cell is good for you, use cell. So how many cells
Okay.
will I have?
24.
What is the formula for the number of cells?
24.
Yes.
So what is the formula for the number of
No,
cells?
Number of cells.
number of rows multiply with number of columns.
Number of rows, number of fields. Perfect. So if I fire this query, select star from products, how many fields will I get?
Field here is a column. Field means column
Cell.
or a cell.
Cell.
Okay. To 24, sir.
24. So in the program, those 24
Okay.
cells will be stored in a result set. Will be stored in a.
Result.
So you can visualize a result set to be a 2D array. 2D
2D
array. So if your query is of select nature, then what should be on the LHS? What should be on the LHS? Result set. Because whatever data is being returned will be stored in the result set. Okay, if I fire this query now, if I fire this query, tell me, select product name, comma, price from products. Now, how many fields will this return? This is my query. What will be the output of this?
So now select P name and price from product. So it shows up P name and price
Only this much?
12.
column.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
How many fields?
So 2 multiply with 6 is a 12 cell.
12 cells, right? So where will I store this value which the query is returning? In a
Result set.
result set, correct? So what is in the result set depends on the query, depends on the
Query.
you change the query, the result set content will change. Okay, what if I fire this query? What if I fire this query now? Now what? Now what will be in the result set? Now what will be in the result set? Will it still have the same content? Will it still have 12 fields now? Will it still have 12 fields?
No.
How many fields?
Only 4.
Only these two, right?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Mobile, laptop, yes, and then more.
Now it will have only these two, correct or no?
Correct.
So whatever will come in the result set will depend on the query.
Yes,
And
sir,
the
correct,
order
sir.
is
Last
important.
two.
Yeah. And the order is important. Order is okay. So I can remember this column either with its name or with its index. With its name or with its
Index.
so what is the name of the first column in the result set?
Product number.
And in the result set index starts from 1. In result set index starts from
1. So,
not with 0. Okay. So result set is an exception. In array the index starts with 0.
One.
In result set starts with getting it.
yes.
Okay, here I had index 1, 2, 3, 4. Here how many index do I have?
2.
So here do I have index 3 and index 4?
Yes.
Here do I have index 3 and 4 in the result set?
Index 2 and 3.
No, whatever comes in the result set is start from index 1, 2 directly.
Okay.
So whatever in the table, don't consider that. Result set will give the new indexes.
Okay.
So now this is my index 1, this is my index 2. So index 1 and 2. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
And now here also index
1 and 2.
So I can address this column. I can address this blue column by two ways. How many ways?
2 ways.
Which is, what are the two ways? Either by the
Index.
column index or by the column name. So what do you think is more appropriate, index or name?
Index.
Are you sure? Okay, so here if I change the query, to select, instead of giving P name and price, if I change it from price and P name, what will be the output? Will it still be the same? Will it still give the same output? What will be the output of So your index sequence determined by the query. Index sequence is determined by the.
लेफ्ट आ रही है जरा
Query.
So what did
मैं
you
वो
select?
लैपटॉप रख दिया ला रहा हूँ
Your index sequence is determined by the query. So here if I fire price first and P name later, price column will come first, P name will come second, right?
Right.
So what is the index for price now?
मैंने बनाया होगा बोला था मैंने दाल चावल आप सुनाए सब खाए
Ataullah,
Zero and
you
one
can keep it
index.
on mute for some time.
It's Farouk, not me.
Who's the one who is disturbing? So if I change the sequence of the columns in the query, in the result set also I'll get the same sequence. Okay, so you have to visualize this result set. Okay, and then you can make a pointer pointing to that result set. So I said result set RS. So RS is that pointer which is pointing to the head of the result set. So by default RS will point at the column name at the top. I'll show you how to then iterate through the result set.
So
this
we will
is-
be using the name instead of index.
It's up to you. Once you get the image in your mind that this query I have executed and this will be the data the query will return, then you can traverse it by either of them, by the index or by the name, whichever
Return
you
is
feel
depend
comfortable.
on the queries. Yes.
Okay. So now is this,
When we start a select P name first, then it shows a P name first and price second.
yeah, the query depends on the query structure.
Yes, sir.
This
Depend on the queries.
select price comma P name and select P name comma price will return two distinct result sets. These two result sets are not same. These two result sets for the query they will be different result sets because the order of the column has changed. Okay. So as a programmer, you should visualize what will be the result set. So is this table understood? So let's summarize this. What is select query? What is non-select query?
Yes, sir.
I'm asking what is select query? What is non-select query?
Select query.
Select query is that query which starts with the select keyword. Starts with the
Select
the first
name.
keyword of that query is
Select.
select. And what is non-select query?
Or any other update, delete.
Query keyword of that
DML
query
queries
is
and
not select.
Yes.
Is
yes, sir.
anything
DML
apart from
queries.
select. Okay. And what is statement and what is static and what is dynamic?
Where we know the data is static,
Hmm.
where we accept from user is dynamic.
Perfect. So when do we use execute query and
Static
when do we use
means
execute update?
For select is execute query. And when we accept the data, we'll update.
No, when we use execute query and when do we use execute update?
When it's integer.
When do I use execute query And when do I use execute update is my question.
For
When
select
we know
nature,
the
we
proper,
use execute
when we
query.
know the
For non-select, we use update.
When your query is of select type, we use execute query. And when my query is of non-select type,
Non-select,
I use
update. Execute.
execute. So execute query and execute update, is it dependent on static or dynamic?
No.
Right? It is dependent on select and non-select, right?
Yes.
So if I say this statement, use execute update when query is of static nature only, is this true or false?
False.
Why false?
Because we can use update only for non-select.
Huh?
For select, okay, for static nature only. Because it doesn't depend on static or
It doesn't
dynamic.
depend on the static and dynamic because we have execute query for
Yes.
both select also, for static also, and for
Dynamic also.
what will we say this, true or false?
False.
Because
we will use for both.
we can use execute
Update
update for
static and dynamic.
static and dynamic both, and dynamic query both, correct?
Yes.
Your concept should be in place. Okay, so if I say use result set on the LHS if query is of dynamic type, is it true or false?
There is no condition you haven't
Okay.
mentioned.
False, because you can have result set for static and dynamic queries both, right?
Yes.
Yes, so because we can use result set, that is execute. When I say result set, I mean execute query, right?
Yes.
Then only result set will come into the place for static and dynamic. So it has nothing to do with the type of the query, which method I am using. It all depends on the
Select and non-select.
select and non-select. Perfect. So this is just because of this I give the example. So if I say India has only bowlers, you will say false, because India has bowler as well as batsman, correct?
Yes.
So is this table understood, summarized, understood?
Yes.
Okay. Now we have just few simple steps we have to follow to do any program in JDBC. Okay. So let me fetch that data for you. So if you follow these simple 7 steps, we can do any. Okay. Then I just wanted to do one more thing. So how many execute methods have we studied?
2.
Which are there?
Query and update.
There is one third execute method which is used to execute DDL query. That is only execute. That is only what? And this is used for executing which queries?
DDL.
So if you want to create a table, directly use execute. Okay. So those queries which will not return any value, which will not
Return any value.
So if you are creating a table, then use which method?
Execute.
DDL. Create comes under DDL, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now let's come back to the 7 steps of JDBC. So which is the first step? Which package to import?
Java. SQL.
Java dot.
SQL.
So all these are all interfaces. These are all what?
Interface.
Statement is a built-in interface. Prepared statement is an interface. And result set also is an interface. So you will get these interfaces in which package? Which package will we get those?
Result set.
In the Java dot.
Okay, import. Import Java.
Java.SQL package. Which package?
Java.SQL.
So the first step is this: import the proper package. Second step is you have to load and register the driver. Load and
Register the driver.
for that we have this method class dot for name, and you have to give the driver name over here in a string format. Okay, and depending on your database vendor, your RDBMS provider, this string will change. So this driver is looking like which database vendor?
My SQL.
If you want to change the vendor, you can change the driver. So this is the driver for
Oracle.
Oracle. This is the driver for,
MySQL.
this is the driver for MS Access. For
MS Access.
if your database is Postgres, then
Postgres.
so depending on your database vendor, you can choose the appropriate driver. So in our case, the database vendor is MySQL. So we will use MySQL driver. Okay. So second thing is load and register the driver. Now the third thing is establish a connection. Establish a. So if I can draw one more diagram for your understanding. Okay. So if we have to initiate trade and commerce between two cities, what are the prerequisites? If I want to start some trade and commerce between city A and city B, what are the prerequisites I should have in place? Am I audible to you all?
Yes.
So why aren't you responding? So if I have to start trade and commerce, first thing first, I will have to lay a highway. Let's say I want to have commerce by road.
Okay.
So this will be a, what is this? A
Highway.
highway. Now just by laying the highway, is it sufficient?
No.
So what do I need else? I also need transportation. I also need,
Transportation or method.
so this is the truck. This is the truck,
Truck.
which will run on the highway to and fro, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if I want to, let's say, trade mobiles, I want to send mobiles from one city to another city, then will I directly dump the mobiles in the truck like they dump bricks? Like how they dump bricks on a truck? Will I directly dump all the mobiles in the truck like this?
No.
What will I do? I will put them in a package. Put them in a
Package.
make a package, make a container. And in that package properly, I will pack because they are delicate. So handle with care stuff, right?
Yes.
So can you differentiate between these four colors? Black, red, green, and blue. What is black? And what is red?
Red
And what
one
is
is a
green?
truck and green and blue is the data, sir. Transfer, data transfer from city A to city B.
package, the parcel, and blue is the data which I want to transfer, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Then, so this is businessman A who is sending X, no, city A, city is the A. And this is businessman Y who is receiving the goods, correct? Now, businessman X sends the goods to businessman Y. And now businessman Y, what will he give in return?
Money.
Money, right? So that money will be given to whom?
Businessman X.
So then the businessman X will have a safety vault. No? What we call as tijori
Yes.
at his house. Yes, no, maybe.
Yes.
So that money which is being received will be stored in this vault. So now let's now give meaning to this analogy. So the highway is the connection. Highway is the
Connection.
okay. The city A and city B is your city A is Java, city B is MySQL. Okay.
Okay.
And if now Java wants to communicate with MySQL, it has to first lay a connection. First lay a first interface. So first interface which I will be using is which interface? So now just see the list of interfaces now. List of built-in interfaces used in JDBC. Which is the first interface?
Connection.
Your voice is very shallow, very frail. I don't know if my sound system is low. I'm not able to hear you clearly. So first interface, okay?
Yes.
Built-in interfaces, these are all ready-made, predefined. So, and in which package are they predefined in? SQL package. So first you have to have a connection between the Java and MySQL. Okay, once the connection is done, then this red color transport is your statement or prepared statement, which will take the data. What is it?
Statement.
So statement. So do we have the same truck for perishable items and for non-perishable items? Do we have the same truck? Have you heard of refrigerated and non-refrigerated space?
Yes. Yes.
So if I want to send some meat or if I want to send some dairy items, which
Yes.
truck will I use? Refrigerated or non-refrigerated?
Refrigerated.
And if I want to send cement and bricks, what will I use?
Use the
Depend
normal one.
the item, sir, which kind of item you
So depending on the item which I am sending, I will use a proper container, right?
Right.
So if I am sending a static data, then what will I use? If I am sending static data, then what will I send? What will I use? Which truck will I use?
static truck.
Statement. And if I am sending dynamic data, then
Prepared statement.
depending on the content, right, the truck will change. So if my query is of static nature, then which truck will I use?
Statement.
Okay,
My
the statement.
query is of dynamic nature, then
Prepared statement.
okay. And then in that prepared statement, I will not dump the data like this. I will put it in a query. So query is my package. Put it in a it will be of string type. It will be of what type? So if I want to insert 101 Alice and 800, I will wrap it in an insert query, correct? So this my actual data. My actual data is my 101 Alice and 800. So will I just dump it like this? Or I will put it in a I will put this data where? In a
Package.
query. Put it in a
Yes. Query.
so this is the actual data which I want to send from front end to back end. So I will put it in a proper package. That package is my insert query. Package is my
insert query.
okay. So first we'll have the connection, then we will have the statement depending on the nature of the query, and then whatever data I have to send, I'll put it in a query and put the query on the statement and put the statement on the highway and send it. And if this businessman Y, whatever it will return, it will come and in my safety vault, and that is called as result set. So result set will only be used when I am fetching something from, when I'm only sending. So we have two arrows, right?
Yes.
So when I want to fetch something from the database, that time only result set will come into place. So if I am inserting or updating, will I use result set?
No,
Why no?
because you're not fetching.
Yes. So when do we fetch? When we are selecting. When we are doing what?
Selecting.
When we are selecting, that time only the safety vault will come into the place. Understood this analogy?
Yes.
So now let's get going with the programming part. Okay. So first thing first, lay the highway. The connection means
Highway.
So first thing first is build the highway. Now once the highway is built, then choose the appropriate transport. Choose the
Appropriate transport.
okay, that is called your statement. Choose appropriate transport. So for sending dairy products, what will I use? Refrigerated or non-refrigerated?
Refrigerated.
Choose refrigerated truck. And if I want to send cement, bricks, what will I use?
Non-refrigerated.
Choose non-refrigerated truck. So choose your statement wisely. So if I want to fire a select query, if I want to execute a select query, dynamic query, sorry. Which truck will I take? Use
Prepared statement.
prepared statement. And if I want to execute a static query,
We'll use statement only.
use statement. Okay. So the transport will depend on the query. Now, once you have laid the highways constructed, truck also you have got. Now create the package. Create the package. Okay. And then execute the query. Okay. Well, let's do it practically. Let's do it step by step. So let's do a practical of this now. Okay, I'll just switch my screen to Eclipse. I had opened Eclipse over here. Why don't I see it? Strange. Currently active, and why aren't you showing it? And why am I not able to see it if it is active? Where is it active? Want to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So now what we can do is, if let's first make a simple Java application. I wanted to show Maven also, but so I'll show this using Maven also, so you know the benefit of Maven. I go to project, I make a simple Java project, and I give the name JDBC demo new. Okay, JDBC demo SCS, and I finish. So you see this application made, correct?
Yes.
So whichever database I want to communicate with, in this case MySQL, so we have to download the driver of that. Okay, driver for the respective database vendor. So who is that vendor in today's example?
SQL.
So the version of SQL which is compatible with MySQL is 5.1.5. What is it?
5.1.5.
So I need to download the MySQL connector. Do what?
MySQL connector.
It's a jar file. Okay. File is a zip file. It's a zip file. And download it for this particular version, because your driver should be compatible with the version of the database on your system. If you download the latest one, latest is 8.0.3. This is the latest MySQL version going on in the market. I have downloaded this around a year or a year and a half ago. So that time this was the version which I was using. So, and this suits my operating system. So I don't fidget with that version. But if you all have not downloaded any MySQL right now, and if you all download and install the latest MySQL, then you all will need this driver. Okay. So now what I have done is I have downloaded this driver on my hard disk. Let me show it to you all. Okay. So this driver I have to add to my application. This driver I have to add to my application. See. Do you all see over here?
We can, yes. MySQL connector.
You see this?
Yes.
And which version it is?
5.1.15.
So this is, it suits my OS and my MySQL. So I use this. But if you all are using the latest one, you all have to use the latest connector. So I copy this. Okay.
Sir.
Extract it. You can do it over here also if you want to. If maybe I have extracted it. Looks like it has. See, you see over here.
Yes.
So it's a jar file, Java archives. So I need to add this now to my application. So I go to my application. This is my application. You're able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
So I go to my application, right click on my application name and go to configure build path. Where do you see that? You see build path?
Yes. Configure.
Configure build path. Then go to your libraries and say add external jars. Choose which one?
Add external jars.
And choose for that jar file now. Search for that jar file. Okay, it's over here, right?
Yes.
Or below over here. Use this. And that's all. Apply and close. So now that jar file will help me communicate with my database because it has all those interfaces over here, which I will be importing. So once that is done, so Maven helps us over here. If I were using Maven, no, I just in my form.xml had to add a dependency of MySQL connector. It would go to the internet, download the latest MySQL connector and add it to my application. So all this manually adding of jar files, this headache is now eliminated and Maven takes that headache of adding all the jar files required for my application. Am I understood what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Where Maven comes to our help? Where does Maven come to our aid? Where does Maven come to the help of the developer? In downloading these jar files. So now I have to go and physically, manually download the jars and add it to my application. When I do a Maven project, all I have to do is just add a form.xml, which is by default over there. In that form.xml, just I have to add the dependency. So what dependency will you all search? So you all will just go to Google. What we will do is just go to Google and is my screen visible to you all?
No, we cannot. Yes, now we can see.
And what will I say? My SQL connector Maven dependency. You getting it?
Yes.
Maven.
Done?
Just go here, take the from this MVN repository website, go there, take the first. This is the latest one going on right now. And just add this code to your form.xml and click on save. Automatically, it will go and download the connector jar from this website. Am I understood what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Are you all getting the advantage of Maven?
Yes. We do not have to build the path again and again.
Yeah, don't need to download the jars manually. So at times in an application, I might need 100 jars. How many jars?
100 more than.
Imagine the frustration if you have to go and search for those 100 jars one by one and add it to your application.
So Maven will simplify this for us.
Maven will just say what you want, just add it to the form.xml. So if I have a Maven project over here, see. So what Maven does is go to the form.xml and just put in the dependency of what you want. So now see, in my Maven dependencies, I have how many jar files added? You see over here.
2,
Here, how many?
3.
Which are they?
Jackson code, Jackson annotation, and data bind.
Okay, so now I want to add my SQL connector also. So what will I do?
We just
I will
copy
just
and paste.
take this code, copy it, and paste it where?
In our
Dependencies tag, right? Dependencies main parent tag. In that, I will just come and Control V. Okay. And now which version will it download?
8.0.3.
Just click on save. Just click on.
Save.
When I click on save, you will see a progress bar progressing over here. So you have to have the internet on because it will download that from the internet, correct?
Okay, yes.
And then how many dependencies will you see over here?
3.
3 are already there, brother. When I click on save, what will happen?
So one more.
Which will that be?
Group ID.
It will be of this. It will be of
JDBC.
it will be of this. Where is it? This is my JDBC demo. Yeah, this is the JDBC demo. Okay, SCS, JDBC demo SCS. So it will be of this type, MySQL connector jar 8.0.3, right?
8.0.3.
Yeah. So now if I just click on
Okay,
save,
yes.
just when I click on save, you will see the difference now. So all this headache is taken care of. So I click on save. Okay, it is building, you see.
Yes.
And download it or not?
Yes.
So is this not making the life easier for the developer?
So it's added 2 jar files here.
Yeah, whatever jar file it needs, it is adding. That is not our headache.
Okay.
Okay, so this now, as I am not using a Maven project, I'm using a simple Java project. I had to add this manually. Am I understood? This is what I'm trying to show.
Yes.
The last 5-10 minutes.
Yes.
So now I had to, and I added that particular version which suits my
Eclipse. For the version, Java version.
yeah. So now I have added the one which suits my database version, that is 5.1.15. So first do that, And then now go to the project, new, make a class, and what you can say, JDBC demo. Okay. My screen is visible to you all, right?
Yes, I can see.
Okay. So now let's create a table. So I'll add the main method over here. Now, which is the first thing? Which is the first step? Follow
Build
these. Follow these steps.
Import,
Which is the first step?
import Java SQL.
But in your Eclipse, we can write the name of the interface, and when we click on it, it will automatically import, right?
Yes.
So let's stick to that. So let's not import anything. So whenever see if I write statement st is new, okay. So if I take my mouse over here, what will it tell me? So import from which package?
MySQL JDBC. Yes, it's given 3 options. Java.sql.
Option C, right?
Yes.
So automatically it will import. So first thing first, what will I require? Connection. What will I require?
Connection.
So I make a reference of connection. These are all interfaces. So do not say connection con equals to new connection. These are not classes. These are not classes. So don't make objects of them. These are just interfaces. Just make references. Now, I need to import it, right? How will I import it? So import from which package?
B. Java.sql.
And then I will have in the string format, I will have my database name. Okay. Database name. And then I will have the database user. And then I will have the database password. These 3 things. It's only for the first program we will be need to understand this. Once you understand this, for the second program onward, you will be in cruise control. Solely, okay. And now my query also will be of string nature. My query will also be of
String nature.
So these 4 variables we will need. So let's start. So first thing first, load and register the driver. So as I am using MySQL, which driver do I need to use?
MySQL.JDBC.driver.
So first step will be load and register the driver. Okay. Okay, we are in the main method, right? Okay, this will throw exception. This will throw what? So write what over here? Okay.
Yes.
So now once I've got the driver, now make the connection. So connection I've made the reference. I will just say on equals to the class called driver manager. Class called as what?
Driver manager.
Dot get connection. Dot get
connection.
Okay. Now over here I have to provide my database name, user, and password. So this is the format of providing the database name and all that. So let me just fetch it for you all from my
username, database, username, password.
Yeah. So what is that for that we should know your background. Where are we? In which database? We are using which database?
SCS.
Okay, so we should know that database name. So another a particular format. I'll just show you that format. So use this format. JDBC : MySQL : / localhost : 3006 followed by the database name. Okay.
Okay.
So this will just be for the first time. Database name. So directly you can hard code that value over here. So what is the database in our case? Just change this part. Just change this part. Rest remains same.
SCS DB.
What is the database? And my user is root. My user is, and my password is blank. I don't have any password for the database. Okay, so password is
Blank.
Guys, what I'm trying to show. Password will be blank. Okay, and now whenever you give the connection, you have to give these three things. You have to give these three things. So first thing, what will you give is?
Database name,
Second,
user, and then password.
perfect. So this in your enterprise application, no, are stored in a secret key or stored in a different XML file, but we are doing it right away. So these three things you have to pass while creating the connection. Now the expressway is laid, okay?
Yes.
Now next is I need to create the transport. I'm using ST.
Statement, yes.
ST indicates that my query will be of
Static nature.
nature, okay? So now ST, I've got the reference over here, equals to whatever connection you have made. Use that and say create statement. Use what?
Create statement.
So this will, so whatever connection object you are using, you have to use the same over here. And now the transport also is arranged for. Now create the package. So what query you want? You want to execute create table?
Yes.
So yesterday we had sent. Who can share that query back? Atullah, can you paste that query back over here? Yesterday I shared the create table query.
Yes.
Yeah, please punch it back on this chat. So I just copy it from here.
Just a moment.
So this table now, this query I will take, create table query. Don't take the semicolon. Don't take the semicolon and directly paste that query in double quotes over here. Understood?
Yes.
Are you able to see my screen? Okay, so we have taken this simple query. Is my screen visible to you all?
Yes.
So I've copied that data from here, the query. So wherever you have written the query as copy and paste it in a string format. Is this clear?
Yes.
And now this parcel, so this data is there in this package. Now execute the query. So which type of query is this?
Static.
Which type? DML, DDL?
It's DML.
DDL.
DML. Is
DD.
create DML?
Now
Sir,
it's DD.
DDL, sir.
And for DDL, what do we have?
Data definition
Which
is
method?
create table.
Which method do we have for DDL?
Execute.
So just call the execute method from the any of the statement interface. So we have ST, right? So I will say what ST dot
Execute.
execute which query? This query. And this is returning me a boolean. This is returning me a. So if you look properly, if I say execute, what is it giving me? Returning me what?
Boolean statement.
So if it creates the table, means successfully done, right?
Yes.
And I will sys out table created successfully. Okay. And now once your task is done, close both the ST and close both the connection. Okay, so there is no memory leak. Yes. So this is a good practice. Good practice to close the connection and the statement after it is used. Okay.
Yes.
And now let's run this code and see whether this table, by what name? By what name?
Table. Create table.
By what name?
Product.
Product.
Gets created in which database?
SSDB.
So is there any products database, product table in the SCS DB right now? See, if I refresh this, right now, this is the state of my SCS DB. and has how many tables? See over here, this one indicate number of tables. How many tables
Yes.
are there in this? There in this SCS DB right now?
One.
One.
Is that one table?
Yes.
EMP, right? Which we had made.
Yes.
Now, when I run this code, how many tables will be there?
Two.
When I run this code, how many tables will be there?
Two.
And which is the second table?
Product.
So let's see it. I right click, run. And before running, make sure that you have the jar added, okay?
Yes.
Make sure you have the jar added over here. In that build path, make sure you have this jar added before running the code. And now let's right click, run as Java application. So now if I can see that message, you see?
Table created successfully. Yes.
And now if I go to the database and do a refresh, what should I see over here?
Two tables. SCDB one more.
Yeah, you see product has come, you see?
Yes.
And these are the columns in my product tables, correct? Pro ID, pro name, description, pro price, quantity, they all
Yes.
are from here. Yes, no, maybe.
Yes.
So this was a simple example of your which statement? Execute
Create.
statement. Which statement?
Create. Execute statement.
Now let's try to, now let's take an example of each. Let's take an example of each of these four quadrants, okay? So now let's try to do a insert with a static. Insert with a,
Static.
so I go to this. Now you will get it better. So now I make a new file, new class. And what would I name the class as? Insert using
Static. Static.
static, okay? So insert using static means statement, right?
Yes.
So let's say insert using statement. Insert using statement. So put the main method in it. Now you can copy half the things from here now. Okay. So from here onwards, you can copy everything and paste it in your application. Correct? And what should I say over here? Throws
Exception.
exception, correct? Now tell me. These all are okay. Statement as ST also there. Now what is the query now? What will be the query?
Insert.
Insert into which table?
Product.
Product. And then values. What will I enter? 101.
At least.
Mobile.
Yes. Mobile.
Description, right? Then price.
Price.
And then quantity, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I've given a single quote over here. Correct? And
Yes.
double quote will come at the end. After the query finishes. Yes or no?
Yes.
Insert into product values 101 mobile 1 plus 70. So just match it with the columns, okay? Match it with the columns. So 101 mobile 70 pro price and quantity. Yeah, all good. The data is matching. And now once this query is written, fire this query. So for the firing the query, I will say ST. So which statement will I use now for ST? ST dot what?
Execute.
My query is of what nature? Is it of DDL nature? Execute, you use only with the DDL command. This is a DML command.
So DML, yes, sir, it's a DML
Update.
Execute update.
update, sir.
Execute
Update.
update. You see over here? And
Yeah.
what is the return type? What after the
Integer.
colon C, what is the return type of this query?
Integer statement.
Integer. So it will give me what? What will come in N now?
Integer.
What will come in N?
Result.
Yes, Shabana, what will be in N now? The number of records affected by this query. How many records got inserted by this query?
Impacted rows.
So how many records got inserted?
One, sir. One row pop-up
One.
updated, sir.
Now I can say if my N is greater than 0, means if no records are inserted, what will come in N?
0.
If
And if one record
zero,
is inserted, what will come in N?
1.
So if I say N greater than 0 means what?
It is
one row update,
So I can
impacting.
rows updated.
inserted. So what will I say now? N plus rows inserted means what will be the output?
1 row inserted.
Okay, now let's just keep it simple. One row inserted.
That is why it was showing integer value.
Yes.
How many
And
numbers of
if it doesn't insert, what will I say?
Rows inserted, else no row inserted.
update.
All rows inserted. Okay, and now once you have done it, close the highway and
Sir,
close.
please, after class, can you set my PC, sir? There is some issues on SQL, sir. So, if you have time, sir.
We're using MySQL or what? Oracle.
MySQL, sir. MySQL.
Workbench.
Sir, is not properly installed in my PC, sir.
Let me. So now if I right click over here, I have
So,
the application.
after class, can you set my PC, sir, please?
One
One
Yeah.
row inserted,
one
yes.
row inserted, and if you go to the database and cross check and see that record is reflecting over here, it should reflect. Okay.
Yes.
So this was your insert using what? Statement, right?
Statement, yes.
Now let's do insert using prepared statement. Now I will take the value from the user. I will take the values from the
User.
insert using prepared statement. Okay. And I put a main on it. So now what we can do is when we are requiring this code in across multiple classes, right? So what we can do is we can put this code at one centralized location. Okay. So you can make a class called as DB connect. DB connection. And make a method called as public void or DB connect and put all that over there. So rows exception, and then we have con st query, and this it connects to the database. And what we can do is we can return this con. Return the con. Okay. So what is the return type of this method?
Function.
What is the return type? So make the database over here and return the con. And now in everywhere, what we will do is just make a object of connection and call, and let's make this method as static method. Let's make this method as, so no need to get object of this class every time. Just directly say what? DB connect dot and import this from SQL.
JavaScript.
And this also has a tendency of throwing exception, right? We just delegate the exception part to JVM. So see what I've done over here is I made a class by what name
DB connection.
and made
So
a
there is
static
need
method.
to
What is the advantage of static method?
static.
Advantage of static method is that you can directly call this method with the class name. No need to make object of DB connect every time. And what is this method doing? Taking a connection con. Okay, no need for query over here. And it is establishing the connection for me with this database and returning the connection, correct?
Yes.
So all I will take is in my class, I'll take a connection variable and of the DB connection class, I will call this DB connect method. It will return me the connection. Getting it?
Yes. So there is no need to close.
No need to close. Close, we can call a method then separate method. So you can say DB connect and DB disconnect.
Okay.
So you can call DB connect and DB disconnect. What will this DB disconnect do? What will it do?
As the name of disconnect is a good disconnect
But then now I have to make it them as
connection.
global variables then. Make them as class variables then now. So they can be accessed by multiple functions.
So why we need a disconnect, sir?
Okay, they are static. Static reference, right? Because they are used by static function. So now always try to disconnect the database. So here what will I do? Con dot close. And return, this is void, right? Void function. So always connect function and disconnect function. So I make two variables over here. Statement also not needed over here. Statement is not needed. Only connection is needed. So I make a connection con. No need for this, no need to import this. So I just I take a static connection reference, put my database credentials over here, and connect to my database and return this reference. And whenever I want to close the connection, I will call DB disconnect. We will close this. So I come here in my application, DB connection dot call DB connect. I've got the connect. Now I'll be using prepared statement, right? So I'll make a reference of which class, which interface, import it from which package, SQL. And now what will be your query? Okay, first, what will we accept from the user? Please enter product name. So now we don't know the product name. And I will scan it at which variable? Product number first, right?
Yes.
So which type of data will be that? Which type of data?
Oh, integer.
Integer, okay. So let's take it as integer here. I'll need a scanner also over here.
Yes, because
I'll
we'll
need
take
a scanner. SC is new scanner system dot in. Okay, import all of them. And I'll say what? SC dot.
next integer.
The next, what do I need next? Enter product
Name.
name. So I'll say SC dot next, and I'll take as a string, right?
Yes.
Next, what will I need? Enter product description, correct?
Description, price, quantity,
I'll take it in
string.
integer C. And then enter product,
Price,
we'll take it in
integer.
D. And next enter
Quantity.
Product quantity. I'll take it in integer. Okay.
Yes.
Now, see, if you are using statement, if you are using,
Statement.
so the statement reference first and the query later, and the query
Later.
later. This order will reverse. This order will reverse in your prepared statement. Query first. So what is the query now? What is the query? What is the insert query?
Editor.
Insert.
This is the insert query, correct?
Yes.
Sir.
But now, do I know the what the user is entering? Do I know will he enter 101 or mobile or what? I don't know, right? So all what?
Question.
How many question marks?
5.
5, right?
Field. Yes, sir.
So in
Column.
your PS, first you make the query. Now once you have made the query, based on this query, make the PS. So PS equals to, like, how did we make ST? ST equals to con dot. Yes.
Get statement.
So
Create
PS will
statement.
be con dot prepare statement. What?
Prepare
Prepared
No
statement.
D, no D, only prepare. While declaring it is prepared. While declaring it is,
Prepared.
what the method name is?
Prepare.
On which
Not
query?
D.
That is the output. Prepared statement.
Prepared statement is the name of the interface, and prepare statement is the name of the method. So now we have prepared the statement on which query? This query, correct? Now, how
Yes.
many question marks do I have to fill?
Depend on field, sir.
How many
I mean column, sir. Depend on the
How many
column,
question
and
marks
we have a 5
here?
column, then we use a 5
5.
question.
5, right? So now I will set. So in the first question mark is what? Integer or string?
Integer.
So I will say PS dot set string. Set int, sorry. Set int. And the first question mark, okay? The first question mark. Value will come from which variable?
A.
So I will say value will come from A. Second is
String.
Name.
set
String.
string.
Okay.
For second question mark. Value will come from which variable?
B.
B.
Third also.
And third one is also a string and C.
So third variable is C. And for the fourth one,
Fourth one is a integer, sir.
so
4D.
value will come from which variable?
D.
D. And fifth one,
Integer and E.
E. Okay. That's why I named the properly. I named it A, B, C, D, E. For your understand, you can change the variable name. If you want to change the variable name, all your wish. So if you want to keep over here pro ID, pro name, it's all your understanding. Okay. If you want to keep like this variable names, you can change it over here also. Then what will it come?
Pro name.
Pro ID and B will become.
Pro name.
So all up to your logic. I just give simple variable name for understanding. Now, which type of query this is? Insert, select or non-select?
ABC is a good, sir, in place of
Non-select.
pro ID.
No, but professionally we should use like this. This is just for academic purpose. For your understanding, I give A, B, C, D, E. But professionally, never use A, B, C, D, E. Give proper names to the variable name. So this is which type of query?
Non-select.
So what will you use to execute it?
Prepared
Update.
statement.
Execute,
Execute update.
update. And now don't, as we have passed the query over here, no need to pass the query over here. If we were using statement, we had to pass the query while giving execute update, correct?
Yes.
But in PS, as we have already given the query over here while creating it, keep this as blank. Okay, so these are small differences between statement and prepared statement. So in prepared statement, first make the query, then make the prepared statement, and while making the statement, pass the query, and while executing, make it blank. Okay. So how many records will be inserted?
5.
So insert a 5 records. So
Rows.
Yes, 5 rows.
on only one record, but there's a 5.
How many records will be inserted by this single query?
1.
So what will come in n?
1.
So what will I check? If my n is greater than 0 means you can just copy that code from here.
And it's gonna rows update inserted, one row inserted. Yeah, rows inserted.
One n row inserted and no rows inserted, correct?
Yes, sir.
And once you have finished it, you can call the which
Rows.
function? Disconnect function, right?
Yes, yes.
So as we call db connect, you can similarly call
Disconnect.
db
dot
db dot
disconnect.
disconnect, and always disconnect the PS also, because that is only doing the connection open and close. PS we have to do it explicitly. And now let's click and run and let's check whether this is executing. Okay, so it is in the product number. So I enter 102 laptop Dell 14-inch, product price 6999, quantity 10. What it is telling?
1 row inserted.
And now go and cross check once. Okay,
Yes.
got it, guys?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
In both.
Highway is working very
Is
much.
this understood? This map till here at least.
Yes.
That is a non-select part. Okay. Okay. Now let's try to
So we understood,
update-
but we need
let's
more
update
practice, sir.
the-
Today is a very tough,
let's update
it's
the
a very
quantity.
important topic, sir.
Let's update the quantity of product ID 101 by 5. Let's increase the quantity by 5 of product 101. So what will we use? I have given you the value 5, increase by 5. So do we have to take from user or you already know?
We already know.
Update using what?
Date.
Update using statement, correct?
Yes.
And I'll have the main method also in it. So I'll just directly come over here. And now as we have the class ready-made for connection, what is it?
DBC connection.
Call which function?
DB connect.
And what will it return me? Of what type value? Connection type value, right?
Yes.
Contact connection con on by LHS. Okay. Imported. Control Shift O. Import from which package?
Java SQL.
Okay. Now once this is done, okay, this will throw us.
Exception.
Okay. Now next, what to do? Statement or prepared statement. Faster.
Prepared.
Huh? This is my query. Update product set price equals to price plus 5, where product number is 101.
Static one statement.
Huh?
Static one.
So why static, right? So who said prepared statement then?
Statement ST.
And just declare and click it together. Con dot create statement, correct?
Yes.
So in this, you can direct Control Shift O, import it from this package. Okay. Now create the query. Query will be of what type?
String.
And this will be my query. Column names are proper. Update table product set price. And what is the product ID column name? Pro ID, right?
Pro ID, yes. Product ID. Yes.
Yeah, and pro price. What is the column name?
Pro price.
Yeah, so please give the query properly. So what changes will I make over here? What changes?
Adding 5.
And yes or no?
Yes.
Update product, set pro price, product or products? What is the table name? Product or products?
Product.
Product. Okay, this is good. And is this query looking good now?
Pro price plus. Yes.
So did I take anything from the user? Did it have any single question mark?
No. No.
So it is a static query, so I can use statement. And now how do I execute this now?
Execute query.
So come that part remains the same. So you can use this part remains the same. So where are we here? Okay. So this part remains the same. So we can say st.close and con.close. I will close from where?
Disconnect.
I can call what? But I'm closing this con, right?
Yes.
So directly we can close the con from here also. Or you can call db.disconnect, whatever suits you better. db dot now which okay. So now I execute the query. Now how many rows will this update?
Int n is equal to st dot execute update or execute query.
This is what type of query?
Static.
So non-select.
Okay. Yes. Update.
Execute query execute update is with select and non-select.
Yeah, it's non-select execute update.
Which query are we executing? Query. Now how many record will this with this update?
1.
So I will say m rows
Inserted. Updated.
and then if I say what?
Was updated.
And I run this query. Okay. So once you get the hang of the flow, you can expedite and make it faster. Now run. Now before running, check the quantity. What is the quantity of 101?
10. No, it should be 15.
Now it is 10. What should it become after executing?
15.
15, right? So let's try to run this code. And when I run this code, it says one row updated.
Yes.
And if I go to my database and do a refresh, click on the table name, it should make it 5th. Eh? What nonsense?
Updated pro price. It updated
Oh
the
no, we updated the
pro
price. We updated the quantity, right?
Yes.
So what changes do I make now?
Just change that pro price to quantity.
Quantity, yeah. Okay.
Quantity plus 5.
Yeah. So what you are setting, be careful. Okay. Quantity goes to quantity plus 5. Okay. I make a change, save, and do a refresh. It says one row updated. Now I go back over here, do a refresh. Okay. And I edit this back to 399. That was looking better. 399 was looking better. Yes, no, maybe.
Yes.
Okay. Now if I tell, ask the user to enter the amount and increase the value of the product 102 by that amount. If I ask the user enter the amount you want to increase by, he enters 500. So increase the value of the laptop by 500. Now what is this? Now do I know by how much I will be increasing it?
500.
I don't know, right? The user will enter.
Yes. Okay.
So that will be what? Update using?
Execute update.
Update using which? This is what was this class name?
If update using statement.
Using
So
statement.
what would be that class name? Update using? Come on, guys. Update using prepared statement, right? When I don't know how much I will be incrementing it.
Dynamic nature.
Yeah. So now what? First thing first, what will we do? take the connection, right? Now this line also now is pretty same. So now I'll just copy this line and paste it. Now what will I use over here? Statement of prepared statement. Throws exception. Throws. Here what will I use? Except statement of prepared statement.
Prepared statement.
But
Prepared statement.
okay, so I'll just make the reference of it at the moment. Because and now for that, what do I need first? The query, correct?
Yes.
Prepared statement first you need the query. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So first you need this. Please enter the price you want to
Price.
increase by, correct?
Yes.
So first thing first, what will you say? Please enter the price you
Want to
wish to
increase.
increase the value of laptop. So whatever he enters, so you need a scanner also. You can just copy paste all that, okay? So that was using prepared statement. So take the scanner. So once you understand the flow, then it is all just fetching the data and just copy pasting stuff. So he enters over there new price. Okay. Or he makes a variable called increase by. What is it?
Increase price.
Increase by.
Increase by this.
Now, what is the query you will make? Now, what will be your update query? Update product set what?
Price.
Pro price, right?
Yes.
Equals to
Price.
pro price. And plus what?
Plus increase by.
Plus question mark. I don't know, right? What that will mean.
Yes. Whatever you will enter.
Of which product?
101. 2.
102 laptop.
2 for laptop. Yes.
102 is laptop, right? Laptop is
2.
so now how many question mark I have given?
1.
So now how many values do I have to set? Now
One.
make the reference of the make the PS over here. So PS will be con dot prepare statement for which query? For this query, correct?
Yes.
And now how many question mark do I have to set?
1.
It is int or string.
Int.
So set int, right?
Yes.
PS dot set int. First question mark value variable is which one?
Increase by.
And now rest remains the same. Rest remains the same. Just copy and paste. So how many records will be inserted? Updated.
Yes.
How many records will be updated?
1.
So that one will come in which variable?
And
And I'll
yes.
say one row
And
updated.
one
Correct?
and it will show 1 row updated.
So now if I run as Java application and I run this. So what is he asking?
Please enter the price of issue increase of the enter 1000.
So what is the value of laptop right now?
69999.
And if you have to increase by let's say 1000, right?
Yes.
So what will it become now?
711. Sorry.
Okay, there's an exception coming up. Let's see what it says. You have an error in your SQL syntax. Check that corresponds to your question.
My pro ID. It is to pro price.
Where pro ID equals to 102. There's a minus sign or equal to sign over here? Equal to, right?
Equal to.
Okay. So update product set pro price equals to pro price plus question mark where pro ID equals to 102. What is the error over here? What is the error?
Check that SQL page once.
Pro price and is it pro ID is the proper column name?
That is what I want
ID
to.
102. Yeah. Why is it showing? It says I make a query, update product, set pro price equals to pro price plus question mark, where pro ID equals to 102. And now we just have one statement. I make a create con dot prepare statement on for this query. I set the int. The first question mark is increasing by this value, which is increased by. And then okay, in your PS, you don't pass the query again, do we?
No.
In the PS, we already passed the query over here, right?
Yes.
Then why will we pass the query over here again?
No, we just update, execute update.
Okay, so now application run. So how much do you want to increase it by?
1. Oh, so 1000.
What did it say?
1 row updated.
Now if I go back and refresh this, what will be the price of the product?
So increased by 1007 something.
Got it? So it's just like this, you have to play around with your queries. Okay, so select we will do tomorrow. So I've done insert update, delete also same. So if I want to delete the product 102. So how will that be like? I want to delete 102.
Then we'll use.
You will say delete using
Command is also prepared.
delete. No, 102. I want to delete product 102. Then why prepared?
Okay, you know this.
You know the right. You know the right.
Static nature, yes.
Yes, yes, static.
Okay, so now see what I'm doing. I'm just copying this entire update using statement and we'll just modify this. Okay, so just your query will change, nothing else will change. So I just copied the update using statement and I'm pasting it in delete using statement. Okay, see. So and right over here, what pros
Is exception.
exception. Now you are telling me what changes will I make? Delete from
Row ID.
where
Row ID
equals to
102.
that's all. One row,
Deleted.
no rows.
Delete.
As simple as that, nothing much. Now right click, run as Java application. It will say what? One row,
Deleted.
which and if I come here, deleted or not?
Yes.
And now if I want to delete this, now accept the value of the user and delete it. Now what to do? So copy this code and make a class by what name? Delete using
User.
delete using what? Prepared statement, right?
Statement here. Dynamic one.
So what changes will I make? I'll just copy the update using prepared statement. I'll just copy it from start to end, same to same. Paste it over here. Tell me what changes do I have to make? First thing first, add what?
Throws exception.
And next, please enter the product number you want to delete, right?
Yes.
You
Want to
wish
delete.
to
Delete or remove.
in which variable? PNO.
And
So the query, copy the query from here, same query. Query will be same, right?
yes.
So what will you say? What is, we are now using prepare statement, right?
Yes.
What is the query?
Test.
Where PID equals to?
10 question mark.
And set the first question by which variable?
T number.
PNO, right? And execute update. Now do I have to pass anything over here?
No.
The query already over here, right? So keep this as blank now. How many rows deleted?
And
Are you getting it, guys?
yes,
So
user
just
can delete both at once. User can delete both at once, like both
means-
rows. One for mobile and laptop. If we have two in our SQL.
no, then that query will change, right? Then you have to use or over there, or
Okay.
okay, product ID 1 or product ID 2. Then now pass two variables.
Okay.
That all depends on your SQL query now. Okay, so now if I save this and run, and I pass 101, right?
Yes, it will remove mobile.
If I say now 101, what will
Only one.
one row
Deleted.
deleted, and now if I come here and refresh, I will have nothing in it, right?
Yes.
So now we are just left with the select part that we will do on Monday. That how the select works, because select I will on what will change in the select query, execute.
Execute.
This will be replaced by execute query, correct?
Yes, only execute
What will be
query, not
replaced only
update.
on the LHS? Will I still have an integer n on the LHS?
No.
Result set.
Result set. Yes.
Okay. So take care, practice this